ITNE and Carrier from Aircom Babies. It's a Fishy Friday, so go check our friends over at Burger King for the BK Big Fish Champion and the Impossible Whopper, both very, very, very friendly. Okay, let's head into the KUM News Zoom room where we have the Chief of Customs, Chief Ike Peredo, standing by. Good morning, Chief.
Morning. Morning, Chris. Morning, Sabine.
Good morning. Half a day.
Biba Betness. So thanks for joining us, Chief. I guess we'll just go ahead and start, Bree, as there was some digitizing that's going on with the customs declarations, right?
Right. Congratulations.
Yes, that's true. And let me just say that in collaboration with GVB, the Guam Airport Authority and Customs, we've managed to launch the implementation of the Customs Declaration form, electronic form for the airport, known as the EDF. This particular project will provide travelers to Guam with a safer touchless entry process upon arrival. And as you are probably aware, all passengers arriving on island are required to fill out this form. So the EDF is a mandatory digital form that all arriving passengers will need to complete upon entering Guam. And this is the process that we're going into. It provides a new platform for the travelers to access both the customs declaration form and to include the health declaration form that's provided by the Department of Public Health to be a part of this particular system. And I just want to thank the governor for her support in this measure, and we look forward to implementing this process and hopefully be prepared for the arrivals of our tourists. I think the effective date is May 1st, is the target date, and we're working closely with GVB in making sure that we're ready to implement this electronic declaration form for our arriving passengers coming into Guam.
Okay.
Let me also
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I understand that Bill 87 has been introduced. Are you familiar with Bill 87 by Senator Mary Torres, Senator Nelson, Vice Speaker Tina Munoz Barnes? Can you talk to us about that bill authorizing Guam Customs to seize and forfeit property?
Okay, that's the asset sharing bill, I think, that's being put together by the senator.
Yeah, it creates a local forfeiture fund.
Let me just say that. Yes, they're trying to implement a law that will authorize customs asset sharing program for the agency, and we have reviewed that particular bill and submitted our input, and we're working with the senator in making sure that we understand the entire process of that bill. Of course, I support the bill because it will provide a mechanism for customs to retrieve assets from illegal activities as it relates to border inspection. And that's where we're at with that.
Was the bill crafted with at the request of Customs?
No, that bill came was actually initiated by one of the I think it was Senator Torres, to include our chairman, Senator Nelson, as part of the process that came out of that oversight hearing that we were made privy to, because it's part of the process of the enhancement that they're trying to provide customs with resources and authority.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit more then about Bill 58 that's currently before the legislature and the plans for the satellite inspection holding facility? over at the port?
Oh yes, that particular bill is to extend the process for that property. If you recall back when that bill was introduced into law, it gave customs 3 years to establish and build a customs inspection facility at the port. And so that time frame is going to expire in July of this year, and that's why that bill was introduced to extend the law so that we don't lose the land prior to the physical construction of the project down at the port.
And then
So
I
it will give us enough time to build the project.
and if you could then just tell us why this particular building is important.
Well, it's important for us because right now we don't have a facility to effectively conduct our inspection down at the port. The facility that we have down there is just within the port compounds, and it's not adequate at this point in time for customs to conduct not only the inspection but to provide security of all the containers that are coming in. And what we would like to do is have a place just for customs for the proper security of all containers that are exiting the port. And that's what we're doing right now. And that's why that facility is important for us, because we feel that it's vital that we have a controlled area to inspect all containers coming out, leaving the port compound.
Chief, we're good friends with the Northern Rotary Club of Guam's Roberto Fracassini, and he told us that he was trying to do something to raise funds for your agency to help in the purchase of drug sniffing detector dogs. And he just messaged me this morning, Chief, that they're still kind of working on it. Have you touched base with them? Have they reached out to you?
No, I'm not well versed with that. I haven't heard anything on that, Nick.
Okay, well, maybe they're just trying to work on it before they get there. But where are we with the drug sniffing dogs? I know last time we talked, you had mentioned that some of the, or most of the inspections that they're doing are up at the post office. But then I saw that there were some that happened down at the port recently, right?
Yes, and you're right on that. We're trying to provide more exposure of our K9 units down at the port. And right now, I think if I'm not mistaken, we're making sure that they're down there at least 2 or 3 times a week.
What prompted that?
There's been a lot of concern as to why Customs has not been utilizing the K9 down at the port, and I mentioned that before because of the lack of resources, the limited amount of detector dogs that we have. But at this point in time, we're also weighing the fact that still the important places that I feel is urgent for me at this time is the post office, but I'm also looking at making sure that the port is given enough resources for vessels that are coming in. And that's what we're doing right now.
And how long have they been, how long have the dogs been dispatched down to Customs? When did this start?
Can you repeat that question, please? I can't make it out.
When did you start this? When did you start sending the dogs down there on the twice a week?
I think it's within the last 3 weeks.
Have they sniffed out anything?
Are they sniffing anything down there?
Well, they're trying their best. Nothing to report at this time, but we're still working on it.
And the dogs, are they trained to sniff out like specific drugs, or like are they trained like they only sniff out like meth, or they only certain dogs only sniff out like marijuana?
Well, the dogs are trying to sniff marijuana, heroin, and meth, to include cocaine.
So can Chief, just like logistically, I think what Serena means is, can one dog sniff all of those things, or do each of the dogs only have certain things that they sniff? For example, like I know sometimes bomb dogs only sniff the bombs. So with the drug sniffing dogs, Can Fido go in there and he can sniff the marijuana, he can sniff the meth, he can sniff the heroin, or
Or do you have to send
Yes.
out like Snoopy? And Snoopy
No,
only
all the
sniffs them?
dogs are trained and sniffing all those types of drugs.
Okay.
okay?
And are these like random searches twice a week, or there's a schedule? Like, oh, we know that you're going to come down on Tuesday, Thursday.
No, this are scheduled now based on the arrival of vessels coming in to include requests from the immediate division head that runs the port. They can also request aside from the regular schedule.
Okay. And in the past 3 weeks, everything's been clean.
Yes, and we've been doing that for the past 3 weeks.
Right. And you guys did that because you came on the link and we gave you a hard time about it?
No, not necessarily. It's a matter of resources.
Right on. Yeah.
So when are you guys going to get more dogs?
Well, as I mentioned the last time when I met with you folks, we have indicated that we're looking at procuring 4 additional drug detector dogs. And the challenge that we have right now is because of COVID, we're having problems transporting the dogs from the training center to Guam. And I'm working with the United management here to find out when can they assist our agency in making sure that we can allocate space for working dogs to be transported to Guam. And it's just a matter of time. I've met with the management as of yesterday, and we're still actively working in making sure that we make that a priority. Hopefully soon.
Right on.
And do you have enough, I guess, handlers or trainers?
Yeah.
Because
I remember last time
Yes.
when he came on, he said that
Yes.
some were deployed, some were. So what's the status with the handlers?
Well, the handlers right now is that we have provided training for 4 additional handlers. We have a certified trainer on island with the agency that is conducting the training, and they're at the tail end of the training process. With these 4 handlers will be certified. That's why I'm working hard to make sure that I can make arrangement for the 4 additional drug detector dogs to be transported to one.
How crucial is the addition of those 4 dogs in the war on drugs, Chief?
Well, for the agency, it's important for me because having the additional 4 means that I can use that resources effectively at all ports of entry. Cover not only the post office, but cargo, the airport, maritime, and also the Aganya and Agate Marina.
And how does that work? Like when you get the 4 dogs and they get to Guam and they have the handlers. The handlers are customs officers, right?
Yes.
Are the dogs partnered with a specific handler?
Yes, once
And they
the
stay-
dogs are on hand right now, the dogs will be partnered with the particular handler, and that handler will stick with that dog
Yeah.
for the remaining of
Right.
his tour.
Is there like an imprint process where the handler, they get the dog on its own for like a little bit of time so they forge that kind of relationship?
Oh, definitely. There's a time frame where once the dog or the detector dog arrives, they need some time to work with that particular handler.
Wow.
And the way they do that is they do a training process and go through familiarization with all the areas that we work with.
Well, I just had a flashback, Chief. I remember hosting, going to events at schools, and the Customs Canine Unit would go out to visit a lot of the schools, right? And they would do the little demonstration with the dogs. It's pretty cool.
Yes, and pre-COVID we were doing that,
Yeah.
and that's a program that I support because I want the community to be aware of what this agency is doing to prevent and deter illicit drugs from coming into our island.
So how, Mr. Peredo, is the memorandum of understanding with the U.S. Postal Service coming to inspect domestic mail coming along?
Well, as I mentioned before, because of the legality of checking domestic mail, that's the challenge that we have, and we're working with the U.S. Postal Service on that. We have to understand the law, and we don't want to make sure that we go against what the postal regulations are advising our agency insofar as not having access to domestic mail. But we work closely with the U.S. Postal Inspector to work with us in this matter and provide us time so that we can have our handlers screen the mail. And of course, it's going to be on their own particular time because they have other priorities to do so. But we're working on that, and hopefully that we can establish a better understanding of how the operation works at the post office. We have also entered into an MOU where we assign an officer to be deputized with the U.S. Postal Inspector to work with them at the post office.
Chief, what are people shipping in through the mail that you guys are catching?
Well, the only thing that we're seeing right now is we're seeing marijuana at this time and ice, methamphetamine.
That's the big two then.
Yes.
Right on. Well, Chief, anything in closing you want to add before we let you go?
Well, the only thing I want to say is that I want to thank my officers for their continued support. And I understand the limited resources and the challenge that we have, but I want to thank them for continuing to prevent the importation of illicit drugs and other contrabands into our island.
Amen. We're on board with that, Chief. Thank you.
But I do have a
Thank you.
follow-up.
Oh,
I do
sorry.
have a follow-up. I'm just getting information regarding in the CNMI. They can inspect U.S. Postal Service domestic mail. What's the difference between here and Guam?
I'm not too sure the difference because I haven't really reviewed their regulation. But you have to understand CNMI has a different relationship with the United States. I think they're under the Commonwealth, and we have a different type of relationship with the U.S.
Okay.
Okay, Chief. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Wait. Are you guys
Thank you.
getting
Oh,
one
hold
more
on,
thing?
Nanga.
Are you guys getting anything from the American Rescue Act?
Can you repeat that question?
Are you
please?
getting
I didn't get
anything
that.
from Auntie Lulubel on the American Rescue Plan, the $600 million? Has your agency put in a request, Chief, for any of that money?
Well, the governor, I've met with the governor, and the governor has assured me that Customs will be getting the funding that it needs to operate based on the loss of revenue that we've been seeing the past several months. So yes, I've been assured that I will be getting some sort of funding from them.
And how much have you guys lost in revenue?
Well, actually, if you look at our budget, we were short $2.4 million for this fiscal year. For fiscal year 2019, we lost $5 million.
Okay, so you're looking at requesting $5 million.
Hopefully.
Chief, go for it. Uncle Carl's getting $20 million. You guys should at least get 10, Messiah. All right, Chief. Thanks for coming on. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Esther.
Take care.
Okay. You know, maybe Uncle Carl should be the one that's like going to see the gov on behalf of these agencies.
Give him another title.
Yeah,
Could
give
it
him
be?
the asking for the handout from the